The torching of a village in Vietnam, one of many dramatic moments in the controversial new war film Platoon, a film that claims to be the first fiction movie to accurately represent the fighting in that tragic war. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. One of the key claims of Platoon is that this is the first movie to tell the story of the War of Vietnam from ground level, from the point of view of the average infantryman. The movie was written and directed by Oliver Stone, who dropped out of college in the 1960s to enlist in the Army and who volunteered for combat duty in Vietnam. And Stone based the movie on his own experiences. His character in the film is played by Charlie Sheen. Before he's been in Vietnam for a week, he's already having second thoughts, which he expresses in a letter home.
It's scary because nobody tells me how to do anything, because I'm new. Nobody cares about the new guys. They don't even want to know your name. The unwritten rule is a new guy's life isn't worth as much because he hasn't put his time in yet. And they say if you're going to get killed in the Nam, it's better to get it in the first few weeks. The logic being, you don't suffer that much. If you're lucky, you get to stay in the perimeter at night. And then you pull a 3-hour guard shift. So maybe you sleep 3-4 hours a night, but you don't really sleep.
Early in his tour of duty, he's on watch one night when the enemy approaches and he freezes. In a moment comes his baptism by fire, and before long the kid is accepted as one of the platoon. That includes membership in a bunker devoted entirely to drugs.
You lame, Taylor?
Oh, what?
Are you lame or something?
Go ahead, old man, smoke it.
Get here! This shit's in the wind, troop.
The movie has extraordinary combat footage so raw and crazy and powerful it makes earlier Vietnam battle scenes look choreographed. And in this movie, you can't predict who's going to get killed and who is going to live, because just like in real war, it's as if those choices were not left to the scriptwriters. The movie gives us two powerful characters to represent opposing attitudes toward the war. There's the hard-boiled professional soldier played by Tom Berenger, whose face is a mask of scar tissue, and there's the pot-smoking fatalist who defies authority. He's played by Willem Dafoe. Two great performances. The kid is caught between those two strong authority figures, and his war will be a question of which one he finally chooses. Platoon is a great movie, a powerful movie, and one of the year's best.
Oh, I think it is too, Roger, and I'm so delighted that having gone through the era of the wonderful era of Coming Home, Apocalypse Now, and The Deer Hunter, films that really were about the war, and then, about 6 or 7 years later, we get this whole revisionist Rambo fantasy war is fun thing. Now we come back. The pendulum is swinging back now, and we are getting back to what that war was about, a war that is so important in so many ways to this country. And, you know, there's this memorial that was finally built. Well, this is its own kind of memorial, this film, because this film is what it's about. I think that much is important.
I think this is Oliver Stone's own memorial. We know that he went to Vietnam and that he saw what went on there. When he came back, he's a screenwriter who wrote movies like Midnight Express and Scarface. He waited a long time to do his Vietnam story because I think it took him a long time to simplify it, to get it down to what it really meant to him, and not just to be caught up in all of the symbols of the war and all of the controversy of that war, his own experience.
Well, I want to take you into one of my favorite scenes of the Platoon film, and that involves a line of narration with Charlie Sheen writing to his grandmother, a quote that I can't forget. And the quote is, "Hell is a place where there is no reason." And the whole movie, I think, suggests that Vietnam was such a hell. And the scene that captures that as well as any in the picture is the scene where the troops begin to let out their rage against some of the Vietnamese and threaten to kill their children. The soldiers also tear into each other.
I cockadoo! Burn! Burn!
Stay out of this, Elias. This ain't your show.
You ain't a firing squad, you piece of shit! Get
That's powerful stuff, and those of us back home who read about the infamous My Lai incident of American soldiers killing innocent women and children, I think we all read those news reports and at first thought, how could they? Well, this doesn't excuse anyone's conduct, but that scene in Platoon that we just saw and others like it helped me to understand how such a thing could happen in wartime. We don't approve it, I have to underline that, but we now understand it, and rare is the film that brings such understanding of horrible things.
The other thing that the film does, I think, is bring an understanding of the daily conditions under which those soldiers live. And Stone took the soldiers out in the Philippines where this movie was shot and put them through basic training for weeks before they made this film. They were eating sea rations, they were up all night, they were marching around, to the point where when the movie started shooting, they were in a state of utter and total exhaustion, and you can see that. These are not actors giving nice, neat performances.
No.
These are people who are strung out to the last ounce of courage and endurance that they have, and that comes through on the screen, the pressure that they were under.
Neither one of us served in Vietnam, and I know, I sat there, I thought, boy, we don't know what we're talking about unless we were there, I'm afraid. That's the power of this film.